Hey everyone, and welcome. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this explainer today. We're going to be diving into a topic that is just incredibly close to our hearts here at Pratimoksha, Dubai's premier yoga studio, and that is creating truly sustainable corporate wellness programs. Now, before we really get into it, let's just acknowledge the reality of the modern workplace for a second. We're seeing chronic burnout sweeping through Dubai's corporate towers, stiff necks from endless Zoom calls, and a workforce that is honestly collectively exhausted. So I want to invite you to take a deep breath, settle in, and join me in this calm, focused space as we look past the generic surface-level solutions. Today, we're going way beyond the typical yoga plateau to discover what it actually takes to build a wellness culture that truly thrives. Look at this cycle for a moment. Great intentions, professional websites, booked programs, and then fading results. Sound familiar? In our experience, this is a conversation that happens way more often than it should. We see HR managers who are genuinely so motivated to do something meaningful for their team, they search around for corporate yoga, pick a provider with a sleek website, and launch a program with a whole lot of fanfare. But then, fast forward 6 months, and attendance has absolutely plummeted. The sessions feel repetitive, the initial enthusiasm is just gone, and honestly, nobody can even really articulate what the program was supposed to achieve in the first place. It is incredibly frustrating. And that leads us to a really crucial question. Why do corporate wellness programs almost inevitably fade by month 6? Now, if you're an HR leader or a manager watching this, I want to reassure you right now, the problem is not your intention. Your intention to care for your team is wonderful, and it's entirely necessary. The failure almost always lies in the initial selection process. Choosing a wellness program deserves significantly more rigor than we typically give it. At Pratimoksha, we've cracked this code through years of careful observation, and we found that the variables for success are actually highly specific, deeply structural, and entirely knowable before you even begin. Let's start with Section 1, identify your team's needs. The single most common mistake we see organizations make is beginning with a format rather than the problem. They decide, hey, we want yoga, and immediately start shopping around for a provider without ever really defining what exact corporate pain point they're trying to fix. We really need a complete paradigm shift here. Just contrast a sedentary engineering team dealing with chronic physical tension, tight hips, and severe neck strain against a high-pressure sales team navigating emotional fatigue and target-driven stress. Imagine throwing a hyper-caffeinated sales team into a slow, completely silent yin yoga class without any preparation. I mean, that is a recipe for disaster. Both of these teams can be served incredibly well by yoga, but the structural emphasis, the specific breathing techniques, and the pacing, they must be completely different. A one-size-fits-all approach is going to produce generic, fading results at best. So before you ever approach us, or frankly any other provider, you need to sit down and answer some honest internal questions. Here's a super simple 4-step internal roadmap for you to follow. First up, assess the visible signs of stress in your team right now. Are they physically tense, or are they emotionally exhausted? Second, review what you've tried before and explicitly define why it failed. Third, define what actual success looks like at 3, 6, and 12 months. Are we talking fewer sick days, better focus? And fourth, this is a big one, secure visible leadership support. Will the executives actually show up on the mat? The answers to these 4 steps should drive literally every conversation you have moving forward. Moving on to Section 2, traits of a genuine provider. The corporate wellness market here in Dubai has grown massively, which is great, but it means the range and quality is wider than ever. And let me tell you, pedagogical depth matters immensely. We are contrasting a standard 200-hour weekend certification with years and years of deep study and guided practice. At Pratimoksha, our founder, Lalitha Viswanath, established incredibly rigorous teaching standards precisely because there is a vast difference between an instructor who can, deliver a pleasant, relaxing hour and one who deeply structurally understands the discipline. You want someone whose knowledge goes way beyond just a menu of poses, someone who truly understands human anatomy, nervous system regulation, and classical yogic philosophy. And that depth of knowledge directly feeds into true adaptability. A genuine corporate yoga program is never just a fixed sequence repeated weekly. Highly qualified instructors naturally read the room. They respond to the physical and psychological realities of your team on that specific day. I recall a time one of our Pratimoksha instructors walked into a session, immediately noticed an employee struggling with a pretty severe knee issue, and beautifully adopted the entire sequence right there on the fly so they felt fully included and supported. Modifying practices for injuries or limited mobility should just be standard, seamless procedure, not an awkward disruption or some kind of special favor. All of this builds into operational excellence specifically, consistency of delivery. One of the absolute most reliable indicators of a program's quality is how seriously the provider treats their own operations. Do they guarantee the same instructor across sessions to build trust and psychological safety? Do they have a seamless, clearly defined system for handling cancellations? Are the sessions actually designed to build upon one another, or is it just a random reset every single week? For you, the HR manager, this seamless system literally translates to far fewer headache-inducing emails from confused employees. Consistency is the absolute bedrock of habit formation. Okay, Section 3, the power of progressive practice. This is where things get really interesting. I am incredibly proud to share this foundational philosophy with you. As our founder Lalitha Viswanath always states, a program informed by classical yogic principles must develop progressively so that the practice in month 6 is meaningfully richer than month 1. I just love that. This isn't just a nice quote for a brochure. It's a proven methodology that Lalitha has refined across nearly 2 decades of teaching. It's the very heartbeat of what we do at the studio, and it is the secret ingredient to long-term engagement. Think about it. If a provider uses standard, templated sessions, your team will inevitably hit a stagnant wellness plateau. It's pleasant, sure, but they stop growing, and eventually they just stop showing up. Contrast that with what we call Pratimoksha progressive sessions. It is literally a staircase of growth. In month 1, we might focus strictly on foundational breathing and releasing basic tension. By month 3, we introduce deeper mobility work. And by month 6, we're working on advanced focus and mental resilience. By thoughtfully sequencing the program and introducing these new layers over time, we sustain engagement because the individual is continuously experiencing tangible, real-world personal growth. Next up, Section 4, navigating hybrid work environments. So if you are evaluating a provider for a hybrid team, there are crucial questions you absolutely must ask. How is remote engagement and form correction managed? Are live sessions recorded for absent members? And perhaps most importantly, is the practice actually adapted for someone trying to do a warrior pose squeezed between their coffee table and their sofa? At Pratimoksha, we have genuinely invested in online delivery to address these exact constraints. It cannot just be an afterthought where someone lazily points a webcam at the back of an in-person class. It requires a dedicated, specialized approach to ensure the remote participant feels just as seen, corrected, and guided as the person physically right there in the studio. Which brings us to section 5, red flags worth knowing. Look, not every provider who sounds great in a slick sales pitch will actually deliver a program worth sustaining. Let me share some expert insider secrets with you, okay? Please proceed with extreme caution if you spot any of these warning signs. If they can't clearly explain how month 2 builds on month 1, walk away. Are they marketing inexperienced instructors as corporate specialists? Do they have literally zero intake process or assessment of your team's unique needs? What about pricing that just pushes you to buy bulk sessions without a single care for the continuity of the practice? Guys, these are massive red flags. Remember, a genuine partner will do just as much due diligence on your corporate culture as you're doing on them. And finally, section 6, experiencing the difference. You can read all the corporate brochures in the world. You can look at all the websites, but ultimately, wellness is something that must be felt. The absolute true test, observe a trial session with your team. Pay really close attention. Don't just ask your employees if they had fun afterwards. Look for that pedagogical depth we talked about. Watch how the instructor naturally adapts to the varying bodies and limitations in the room. Look for genuine, focused engagement. We believe so strongly in this transparency that a trial session is the exact starting point we offer to organizations here at Pratimoksha. We just find it's the most honest, effective way to begin a real relationship. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Is your organization actually ready for a wellness program that grows with your team? If you're tired of the 6-month plateau and you're ready to elevate your corporate wellness strategy to something meaningful, progressive, and truly sustainable, we warmly invite you to reach out and book a trial session with us at Pratimoksha. Let's build something extraordinary together. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today, and I really look forward to seeing you and your team on the mat.